We're out here at the Gunks today, and the first thing on the agenda is to practice some trad climbing lead falls. We're going to set up on rhododendron, which is just here behind me. Whenever I'm climbing trad, I always bump the grades down a few notches because I don't like falling on trad gear. Whenever I go to the gym, I try and take a few lead falls just to keep your mind in the game. But it's been a long time since I've taken a trad climbing lead fall, so I'm going to practice that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to climb up the first time, placing all my gear. I'm going to set up a top rope on the top and then wrap back down to about halfway and take some falls on the top half. So one of the big things I find is whenever I'm trad climbing and I'm getting above my gear, I start to feel a bit gripped and a bit anxious, and wanted to get out of that habit. Not that I want to go out and take more trad climbing lead falls, but I want to make that conscious feeling like I trust my gear and I'm feeling comfortable, and once I place the gear and I've moved on past it, I'm not going to focus on what I've done in the past, but think about having good performance up above and not wondering what that gear was like down below me. So that's the first thing we're going to practice today before we go and do some real trad climbing. Okay, let's get up there. So my setup here today is that I'm using two ropes. I've got my normal lead climbing rope that's set up as you might expect for a normal lead climb. And then I've also got a second rope, which is set up in a top rope fashion. So it's a secondary device that's connected to my belay. He's using a GriGri there on a rope that goes up through the chains at the top and then comes back down and is connected to me. And I pulled a whole lot of slack through, so it's got heaps of slack, so that then I can take a fall and land on my normal lead rope, and that secondary rope is just there just in case a piece of gear pops. It's a nice backup, and I wanted that, seeing as I'm going out today and I'm taking a whole bunch of falls on trad gear. It's nice to have that just in case something pops, an extra layer of safety. So after doing this fall practice today, we went out and did some real climbing. I did a couple of climbs, and then on one of them it was the typical Gunks ceiling crux. And as I was pulling the crux, I had a really nice number 1 black diamond camelot just below my feet. And I was pulling the crux and I felt kind of nervous going through it. And I had to think back and I'm like, that's right. I just did all of this fall practice. I trust the gear. This is not even as bad a fall as some of the ones that I did in my practice falls. And that gave me the confidence to pull through. And I was thinking about it afterwards, and I thought part of the issue is not just the fear or the feeling of angst about falling. It's also that feeling of concern that I'm not able to do the climb. I'm not good enough to pull the crux. So there's two things going on there. It's the feeling of maybe being inadequate on the climb or falling off the climb and saving face, but also the fear of injury if you don't have a clean fall. So overall, it was a really good day out practicing the falls. I did about a dozen falls, some from above the peice, some from below the peice, and everything in between. And it was good to get my head back in the game of taking some more trad falls on lead. So I highly recommend this practice to anyone who has a bit of a fear of taking trad falls. But I do want to say, make sure it's done in a safe and controlled environment. Don't just go out there and throw pieces in and take falls. I highly recommend going out with a guide or going to one of those clinics that is aimed at increasing your feelings about taking trad falls. Okay guys, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video, and stay safe out there. See you next time.